For many people who are considering buying their first bike, they're often faced with the choice of either a flat bar like that or drop bars like this. And a flat bar often feels like the obvious choice, whereas drops feel like they're just for like serious racers.
Question is though, are you at a disadvantage if you have a flat handlebar? Can you go as fast? We are going to find out. Ollie!
Woohoo! Holy smokes! That's not a hybrid. I mean, that's actually cool.
Yeah, hasn't it come out well? So just like the bike that Ollie's on, it is an Orca, just with a few key modifications, one of which, crucially, is a flat handlebar. Now, as I said, both of these bikes share the same Orca frame, so it's identical in terms of geometry. It is a road bike, but actually that's often the case with entry-level hybrid and road bikes as well. They can share the same frame set. The difference is that the hybrid version has the flat handlebar. What that means to you as the rider is the bike is a little bit shorter and often a little bit taller, so it puts you in a more upright and potentially more comfortable position. It also perhaps gives you a little bit more confidence on the bike, partly because you can see where you're going without having to resort to looking through your eyebrows. And then lastly, that wider handlebar can often give you a feeling of greater control as well. What you may lack though is outright speed, although that is of course what we're here to find out.
By comparison, the drop handlebar has been the choice of racers since around the 1920s, having been invented by none other than Percy Stenton from Ardwick, Manchester. And the big advantage is that it offers three main different hand positions, and this is great for when riding on long rides because it means you can still keep comfortable by changing up your hand position from time to time, but also those three positions have distinct advantages. So being in the drops allows you to lower your center of gravity. It's great for getting more aerodynamic on the bike when you want to ride fast and maintaining control on descents and in corners. Riding on the tops is great for climbing because it allows you to sit up a bit more and open your chest, and riding on the hoods is just kind of great for pretty much everything else.
Of course, every road racer on the planet uses drop handlebars, but when you look at them, they are kind of weird, aren't they?
Yeah, I guess they are, but they're comfortable, very comfortable.
They are comfortable, I'll give you that.
The big thing is, you know, what's going to be fastest in our race?
Where's your money?
Controversially, I think it's going to be quite close. I don't think there's going to be much in it. I think this will be slightly faster, but I don't think there's going to be much in it.
That is controversial. I think that road setup is going to win hands down. Much as I love the Street Fighter look, that's the faster bike.
Well, let's see.
We're going to run an 8-kilometer time trial and see which bike is faster. Simple race, fastest time wins. Let's do it.
All right, Ollie, you ready for this?
Yeah.
Enjoy it. It is a fantastic day for a bicycle ride.
Beautiful weather.
Yeah. Okay, I'll count you in. Beep, 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 beep. I've got to say, I'm so excited about this. I love the look of this bike. I'm not sure whether it's just because as a kid I dreamt of mountain bikes, and this looks faintly reminiscent of like a 90s mountain bike, but just a heck of a lot cooler. But I don't think it's just me actually. Our mechanic Peter, whose forearms incidentally look strangely like mine, when he was building up this bike, he was raving about it. He had a huge amount of fun, and he too likes the look of it. So make sure you let us know what you think as well. We'll put a poll in the app. But this video is of course not about how cool this bike looks, but how fast it goes. So I better put it to the test. Right, let's do it. I'm sort of trying to tuck my elbows in as best I can, but riding fast into a headwind is definitely not what hybrids are made for.
Drops are good for sprinting out the corner as well, getting some nice leverage but staying low. Into the finish, and we're done. How's that?
Oh, my arms hurt. I know I don't have the biggest, strongest arms in the world, but having them bent like that,
Yeah.
like my arms hurt more than my legs, but it's a lot of fun. You know that kind of like slightly minging lane that's covered in crap and water? It felt like I was riding a mountain bike. I absolutely hooned it down there.
Yeah.
But how was it on that?
Well, it's a road bike and we were riding on the road, so it felt pretty good. I was
Yeah.
pretty at home with it. But interesting, the comparison between what you're saying about your arms getting tired. You know, on the drop bar like this, if your arms do get tired in one position, the beauty of it is you can, you know, just change position and then, you know, your arms feel all right again. So that's good. But I'm intrigued to try that because of what you're saying. There is that horrible little technical gnarly section that's covered in crap on the road. And yeah, the wider bar, yeah, I want to see how that feels.
I reckon it'll put a grin on your face, Ollie. Anyway,
Right.
let's change some pedals. Knock yourself out.
Let's do it. Well,
Enjoy.
hopefully I don't.
No,
do that.
don't knock yourself out. Don't break a leg either. Beep, 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 beep.
So what Si hasn't factored in is that I'm going to be a bit unorthodox and hold on to these bars like this. This is what you see cross-country mountain bikers do in order to try and get more aerodynamic. I'm almost in a time trial position doing this, but I'm making my body much smaller. Yeah, it's not as comfortable as a drop bar bike, but you can still get aero if you need to.
Effort number 2, 12 minutes something of pain. Now I might not look it, but I feel like a torpedo in comparison.
Now it's on this sort of tight and twisty lane on our test loop that, with the sort of technical things I've got to avoid on the road and the little twisty corners, but having the nice flat bar should be advantageous.
Never gets easier, you just go faster. Isn't that what they say? Right, Ollie, is a street fighter the future of road cycling?
I think no, but it's. I'm not going to dismiss it. It's its own thing. I just was amazed at how much fun this was to ride, and the added stability you get from a wider bar is noticeable over a sort of standard narrower road drop bar.
Yeah, I'd agree with that actually. I mean, this stepping back onto this is like coming home. You know, it is my bike. I put a lot of time into it, and so I didn't really feel like I wasn't confident going down the technical stuff, but it just feels so much, I don't know, it just feels nicer, doesn't it, when you're batting along as fast as you possibly can. But we will go back to the studio before we crunch our data. Let's not beat around the bush. It's absolutely minging out here.
Oh God, let's get in. Let's get a brew.
We're back in the warmth and safety of GCN Megabase, and we've got the results.
Yeah, we do. Can I just say first, Ollie, you have scrubbed up remarkably well. I still feel like I've got half the road in my eyes, but you look remarkable. Anyway, the results. Can I go first?
Go for it.
Okay, so I was 55 seconds faster on the road bike. And I'll be honest, that hasn't taken me by surprise. I felt faster, particularly going out into the headwind section where my body was just a little bit narrower and, you know, it's mainly just tucking those arms in. So yeah, what about you?
I was 58 seconds faster.
So even faster.
On the hybrid bike. So swing in the opposite direction.
The what?
Yeah. I know that may sound as a shock, but I did kind of cheat a little bit.
You took that shortcut on that.
I didn't take a shortcut,
No.
but I did. I tried on the straighter, faster sections. I was occupying an aero tuck position on the hybrid bike by holding on next to the stem and getting really narrow and aero, and it's made me a lot faster. And the reason why I did this was because I wanted to, well, investigate, but also potentially illustrate, which it has done, that in terms of making yourself more aerodynamic and therefore going faster for the same effort, the biggest impact, the biggest factor in that is not the bike, it's you and your body position.
Yeah, so because in and of themselves, the bikes are fairly evenly matched, aren't they? In fact, the Street Fighter has marginally deeper wheels because they look really cool. But actually, yeah, the bikes themselves, it's the fact that the flat handlebars puts you in that wide arm position, which kind of acts like a scoop, doesn't it? An air brake.
Yes. So if you were to ride them as they are intended in their natural kind of ergonomic positions, yes, the sitting more slightly upright into the wind and wider with your arms is much, much slower on the hybrid bike than the position on the road bike. And we have to add the caveat that getting into that position that I was doing, I was contorting myself. It's not comfortable. It certainly isn't sustainable for me and probably a lot of other people for a long period of time. And it's much less stable. You have far less control holding onto the handlebars in that way.
So it's basically not safe.
No.
Is kind of what we're saying. But what you could do, if you have a flat bar bike and you want to go as fast as possible, you could get a set of clip-on aero bars, couldn't you, that mount near the stem and that put you in that position but actually give you something solid to hold on to.
Yeah, it's a very good point.
You could do. So if you can't afford a drop bar road bike, you've got a flat bar road bike, then that is a very, very good shortcut to going as fast as you possibly can, isn't it? What I would just like to say, Ollie, as well, is that if I was to buy a bike for bazzing around town as fast as possible, looking as cool as possible and doing skids, I would definitely build up a Street Fighter bike because I think it's great.
I think it looks proper cool. I really like it. And it is fun to ride.
There we go. So not only today have we done a little bit of science, we've also looked as cool as we possibly can, Ollie. Job well done. If you've enjoyed this video, please give it a big thumbs up.